Hello, let's talk about something I know many of you are experiencing right now. That crushing weight of responsibility, the endless decisions, the constant pressure to have all the answers. Maybe you're lying awake at night, mind racing with everything you need to handle. Perhaps you're feeling stretched so thin that even minor setbacks feel overwhelming. Perhaps you are struggling with difficult personalities, adding to the sense of pressure. If this sounds familiar, I want you to know you're not alone, and more importantly, there are practical ways to regain your balance. Let me share a concept that helped my leadership journey, the circle of control. Here are 3 concentric circles. The outer circle represents everything that concerns us: market conditions, global events, and other people's decisions. The middle circle contains things we can influence but not directly control. And at the center, that's your circle of control, the things you can actually do something about. Here's what's fascinating. Many of us spend most of our mental energy in that outer circle of concern, draining ourselves over things we can't change. Does this sound like something you identify with? Take a moment to reflect. Where do you spend most of your mental energy? Let me ask you something. When was the last time worrying about things beyond your control helped solve the problem? Yet we do it anyway, don't we? Here's the shift that can change everything. Start directing your energy toward your circle of control. What actions can you take today? What decisions are actually yours to make? This isn't about ignoring bigger issues. It's about focusing your limited energy where it can have the most impact. Here are 3 powerful strategies you can start using today. First, practice the control check. When you feel overwhelmed, pause and ask, is this something I can control, influence, or neither? If it's not in your control, acknowledge it and refocus on what you can do. Second, create what I call impact zones. These are specific times in your day dedicated to actions within your circle of control. Let me break this down properly. Think of impact zones as protected time blocks where you focus solely on things you can directly influence. For many leaders, the first hour of the morning is perfect for this, before emails flood in and the day's urgencies take over. But it's not just about timing, it's about being strategic with these zones. I worked with one leader who always took the first 30 minutes of the day to set himself up for the day ahead. Here's how to make this work. Start by identifying your peak energy times. When do you think most clearly? For some, it's early morning. For others, it might be late afternoon. That's your prime impact zone. During these zones, turn off notifications, close your email, put your phone on silent. This is your time to move the needle on important projects, not react to others' demands. Use this time for activities like strategic planning, making key decisions, solving complex problems, working on team development, creating processes that will help your business run better and without you. Here's what makes impact zones different from regular time blocking. You're not just managing time, you're managing your influence. Every action in these zones should be something that creates positive ripple effects. Things that will keep working for you even after you step away. For example, instead of just handling today's crisis, use this time to create a system that prevents similar crises in the future. Instead of just answering team questions, document solutions that empower them to solve problems independently. I've found that leaders who master their impact zones typically need just 2 focused hours a day to create more positive change than those who constantly react to things outside their control. Third, develop your resilience ritual. This is a personal practice that helps you bounce back when things get tough. It might be exercise, meditation, or simply taking 5 deep breaths before responding to challenges. Or it could be deep breathing. Fourth, I call them decision boundaries. This is about being crystal clear on which decisions really need your input and which don't. Here's how to implement this. Start by listing every type of decision you currently make. Then ask yourself, if my team made this decision without me, what's the worst that could happen? You might be surprised that many decisions you hold on to aren't high risk. Create 3 simple categories. Decisions only you can make. Decisions that need your input but not your final say. And decisions your team can own completely. Share this with your team. Be clear and specific about it. You might say, for client proposals under £5,000, I trust you to make the call. For anything over that, let's discuss it first. What this does is beautiful. It frees up your mental space and empowers your team simultaneously. They'll grow more confident and you'll spend less time on low-impact decisions. 5th, implement what I call energy audits. This isn't about time management, it's about managing your personal energy as a leader. Let's be honest, sometimes a 30-minute conversation drains more energy than 3 hours of focused work. Here's how to do an energy audit. For 1 week, keep a simple note of what energizes you and what depletes you. Rate activities from -5, completely draining, to +5, energizing. Pay attention to patterns. Maybe strategy sessions light you up, but back-to-back meetings exhaust you. Look for what I call energy leaks, those tasks that drain you but could be delegated or restructured. Then make adjustments. Could you batch those draining activities? Could you schedule energizing activities before challenging ones? Could you build in what I call recovery pockets, short breaks that help you recharge? I remember one leader who discovered that her energy plummeted every time she switched rapidly between strategic and operational tasks. By restructuring her day to focus on strategy in the morning and operations in the afternoon, she found she had so much more resilience for both. The key with both these tools, decision boundaries and energy audits, is that they help you operate more sustainably. They're not about working less, they're about having more impact when you work. Because as leaders, our energy and decision-making capacity are some of our most precious resources. Next, let me share what might be one of the most powerful tools I've discovered, what I call your wisdom council. This isn't just about having mentors or a support network. It's about strategically creating your personal board of advisors who can help you distinguish between real threats and false emergencies. Let me explain why this is so crucial. When we're in the thick of leadership challenges, it's challenging to maintain perspective. Everything can feel urgent. Everything seems to need immediate attention. I'm sure you know that feeling when your mind is racing with all the potential consequences of every decision. Here's how to build and use your wisdom council. First, identify 3 to 5 people who bring different perspectives. Someone who's been where you are and succeeded. Someone who knows you well enough to call out your blind spots. Someone who thinks differently from you. Someone who embodies the kind of leader you want to be. Now here's the key part, and this is where most people get it wrong. Don't just connect with these people when you're in crisis. Schedule regular check-ins. I recommend monthly one-to-ones with each council member. During these sessions, share not just your challenges, but your thinking process. Let me share a personal example. I had a leader in my own wisdom council who always asked me one simple but powerful question whenever I brought her a problem. Is this really yours to solve? That one question has saved me countless hours of worrying about things that weren't mine to fix. Create a simple structure for these conversations. What's my biggest challenge right now? What am I assuming that I might need to question? What am I avoiding looking at? Where might I be overcomplicating things? The magic of a wisdom council is that it gives you a safe space to explore your thinking, before you have to make decisions or take action. It's like having multiple mirrors reflecting different angles of the same situation. Think about it. How often have you wished for someone who understands your challenges to bounce ideas off? Someone who can help you separate the signal from the noise? That's what your wisdom council provides. Remember, even the most successful leaders don't do it alone. They have people who help them maintain perspective, challenge their thinking, and support their growth. Your wisdom council becomes your personal sounding board, reality check, and support system all in one. Now let's talk about purpose. As leaders, we often lose sight of our why under the mountain of daily tasks. But the purpose is your anchor in stormy times. Take a moment now to reflect. What's the deeper purpose behind your leadership? What difference do you genuinely want to make? Remember, resilience isn't about never feeling overwhelmed. It's about knowing how to find your center again when you do. It's about understanding that you can always control your response while you can't control everything. Here are some questions to reflect on. What's one thing in your circle of concern that's consuming too much of your energy? What small action within your circle of control could you take today? How might focusing on your purpose help you navigate current challenges? Before we finish, I want to acknowledge something important. Leading others is hard work. It's okay to feel overwhelmed sometimes, but you don't have to stay there. Start small. Focus on what you can control. Remember your purpose. Take a deep breath. You can thrive. And more importantly, you don't have to have all the answers all the time. Sometimes the strongest leadership comes from simply being present, staying centered, and taking one step at a time. Thank you for taking this time to invest in yourself and your leadership journey. Remember, the goal isn't to control everything, it's to lead with clarity, purpose, and resilience from the inside out. Until next time, take care of yourself. Your team needs you at your best, starting with being kind to yourself.